I made my way towards the open currents. I felt a certain chill pass through my shoulders and towards my feet. Taking my first step in the hard courts, I breathed in with excitement and said to myself, "We finally made it." With all the harsh practices, the horrible conditions we endured, and the matches we fought, it was finally here. Sectionals. My team and I made our way through a single court where every team from different schools examined us with silence, and all you could hear is a single tennis ball bouncing up and down repeatedly. Once we started, everyone gathered into a huge circle going over regulations, rules, court assignments, and all that boring stuff. But with quick notice, I was the first to be called down to court number 2. While I made my way through a pile of people who was blocking away, I soon came face to face with a Caucasian player who has to be no taller than 6'2" and wore all black. Although I was nervous, I also felt a burning passion, a fighting spirit ready to release and burst out of me. We started rallying for a good 15 minutes until the match was to begin. I already knew I was in deep shit. Struggling to control my mental strength, I started to confuse myself and lose confidence in playing. But as soon as we started the match, I heard a loud shout from the sideline. "Let's go, Taicho!" As I turned to look, it was my teammate who showed up to support me. Filled with joy and surprise, he gave enough spark for my dedication to beat my opponent. 40 minutes in, and I was 4 points down from losing the set. My breathing became inconsistent. My arms were shaking as sweat poured down my palms, and my feet were extremely sore from running and sliding. But as I looked at my opponent, I was amazed with no sign of tiredness or even a drop of sweat. Because of my self-doubt and weak mentality, it came to resolve losing my first set. I sat down on my bench and looked down with disappointment and asked myself, why am I so slow? Why am I so weak? Why am I so stupid? As I went down attacking myself and telling myself that I could have done something differently, I slowly saw a glimpse of my coach walking towards me. At this point, I knew he was disappointed. He slowly pulled up with crossed arms and stood there for 3 seconds of silence until finally asking, why am I so down? But being my stubborn self, I gave no response. He then said something I'll never forget. "You, Luther, you're carrying the pride of Johnson." I looked at him with surprise, and it turned out that he was astonished and amazed at how much I pulled through. With just that small pep talk he gave, I wasn't going to waste it. Using every ounce of my energy, having the motivation to win, and stepping on that court was the only thing on my mind. Finally came second set, and game, set, match. With no surprise, my tennis season has finally come to an end. Losing both sets was disappointing, but learning from them was the greatest victory I've had. Although I was filled with sorrow, I learned that of course you'll lose some or you'll win some. But all that matters is the end of the day of the dedication and effort you put in and keep going forward. Tennis has become a huge part of my life and also the awesome people part of it. Being like a second family to me, it will always forever have a special place in my heart.